Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome in to a brand new episode of Snaps. It is Tuesday, May 28th. I hope you all had a wonderful Memorial Day. A massive thank you to all those who have served and sacrificed throughout the decade so that we could spend yesterday, most of us not working, with family, friends, eating good food, and enjoying the very freedoms that so many have sacrificed to afford us. What's going on, y'all? Missed y'all yesterday on Memorial Day for sure, but glad to be back here, fresh off the Vegas trip. I hope you're all doing wonderful. Aaron, how was your Memorial Day weekend?
Mine was great, not as good as yours. I'm just glad that you're back alive, and the haircut still looks phenomenal. I'll let you know that right now, T. I think this is 2024, the year of the haircut. TBob is going to keep the flow going through the football season because he was feeling ultra Vegas-y this past weekend.
No, I will. Yes. No, if anything, I hated it this weekend. I felt like every other faded up douchebag on the strip, but I mean, look, I don't think it looks awful. It's just not me. So, we're going to grow this thing out as fast as we can. I canceled my haircut tomorrow. I normally get like a trim every 3 weeks to kind of keep it where I want it, but no. What's up, Greg, Ben, Jacob, George, Goat Dog, everybody else hanging out right now? If you could hit the like button, share it as well.
How much did you lose over the weekend? Did you play at all, or was it just
I played a bit the first night? And at first it was like, just like, okay, let's just put $100 in. What were we playing? I can't remember.
Craps.
That didn't work out. Oh yeah, we were playing craps real quick. That disappeared pretty quickly. Then we went out to eat, whatever. We go up to the room. We're like, one of our buddies like, okay, I'm going to bed. And then my other buddy's like, I'm just gonna go look. I just want to go see what's going on down there. I was like, oh, I'll go watch you play. And so then I ended up putting about $250 more on the blackjack table, and I'll be damned if we didn't get our ass cleaned out before I even got a drink. I mean, I ordered, and then there was zero.
What was the minimum? Was it 25?
Yeah, which I hate. I'm me. I mean, come on, dude. The cheaper the minimum, the better. I mean, you ain't gonna find 5, but like at least 15 would be better. But no, I mean, we just Dia fucked us.
God,
she fucked us so hard.
Bad.
So no, actually, I don't think I gambled again for the rest of the trip, except playing this stupid horse racing game that was so much fun, where they have actual little miniature horses riding around, and you just do little dollar bets. So not a successful weekend monetarily, but Chris Trent's F-Boy Fade, a little underwhelming. Okay, relax. It's grown out over the weekend. CT, thank you very much. You can no longer see my skull. Also, CT, I'll be hitting you back up about the pod once I get back to Earth, as I spent much of my weekend floating in an alternate dimension that could be called the Sphere. And the Sphere is every bit the technological terror, the Tower of Babel, the physical manifestation of human hubris that I thought it was, but it's also fucking incredible. That is that is the wildest venue I have ever been in, hands down. It's not even close. Now, I haven't been to a ton of concerts, so I'm not terribly experienced. I've never been to Red Rocks or anything. Probably the coolest I've been otherwise was to the Hollywood Bowl to watch John Williams, which is still the best ever. But watching Dead and Co. in the Sphere with some of the most mind-blowing animations you've ever seen. And it's not just the screen, though I did one night in the seats. I did one night general admission, so I got the full breadth of the experience. It's the entrance to the Sphere. It's the bars in the Sphere. The general admission bars down at the bottom legitimately look like you walked onto the set of Star Wars. They're so odd and lit, so sci-fi. I mean, the entire thing feels
How big is it? What's the capacity?
It's fucking massive. Oh, I think capacity might only be around like 18,000 or something.
Okay.
But it looks like way more than that because it's all on one side and it goes way high up. And then there's just this massive dome the rest of the way. And the way that they work the live feeds of the people playing music into the animations that they have for the Sphere, it's just unlike anything you've ever seen. Like if you have an artist that's playing in the Sphere and it's a bucket list artist for you, I cannot recommend enough just going all in and trying to make the trip happen. Yeah, it was mind melting, dude. And John Mayer may be the best guitar player on the planet right now. I mean, he is fucking incredible. The entire band is, but I have never seen someone play guitar like that live in my entire life, and it was insane. The second night, even though I think the first night was really most mind blowing to me, the second night, his version of All Along the Watchtower, the solo that he had was the most driving, face melting thing
Mm.
ever heard in my entire life. And so it was awesome, dude.
Was it that or the drugs?
No, I mean, it's both for sure. Right. I mean, Saturday night, I consumed a lot of psilocybin, and it was very funny because I took it, like when I sat down in my seat before the show started, and I just sit alone because we screwed up the number of tickets. And so somebody had to be odd man out. And I kind of like being alone sometimes. So I volunteered to go it alone. And I'm sitting next to this guy, great guy, just an ultimate dad, big deadhead from back in the day. And this dude's talking my fucking ear off. He's one of 8 kids. He's the fifth of 5 boys, second youngest. He has 4 kids himself, 2 girls, 2 boys. He grew up in New England, loves camping. He was a Boy Scout, didn't go the Eagle Scout route because the new Scoutmaster was an asshole and he liked to smoke weed. Dude did not give a fuck about anything I had to say, which was good because as he's telling me all this, I'm slowly but surely losing the ability to form coherent sentences and taking off into a different plane of existence. And so finally, I barely made it through intermission, just getting more and more nonsensical, being like, "Oh,
cool, dude.
I like camp. I think that'd be fun with kids, right?
I like fires."
And then after intermission, every now and then he'd lean over and give me maybe a fun fact about the dead. But I think by the end of that the second half got so intense, I think he kind of felt my vibe and started to kind of leave me alone a little bit. Gulf South says, I call bullshit. No one can out-talk TBob. Yes, but what if you can't talk anymore? That's because that is what happens to me. I will say though, leaving Saturday, what I was so alive, so infused with the music. It was one of the best times that I have ever had in my entire life. So shout out to the dead, shout out Bobby Weir, shout out Mickey, John Mayer, the whole crew. I'm sorry that I'm forgetting the bass player and the piano player's names. Watching John Mayer and the piano player flirt with each other while they're like doing these incredible solos is one of the funniest things
Is it a female?
Ever seen as well. No, it's this guy. But they're like, how John Mayer's famous for making his kind of funny faces when he plays?
Yeah.
You can tell the piano player and him like really get along, and musically they love like talking with each other. And so they'll be sitting there both soloing and they're like,
oh yeah.
And the other guy's like, oh yeah, you like that? It's fucking incredible, dude.
So welcome back. We are all happy you are
T says Austin McGee. Go ahead.
I'm just happy that you're sane and alive.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've gone deep before. This is not my first time. So I knew what to expect. Austin McGee says, T, I know the feeling of peaking and not being able to speak. It's actually fun. I mean, again, if you're comfortable, if you're in the right place, if you're safe about it, and you've, you exactly, you know what you're doing. I agree. It should be done responsibly like anything else. All right. That said, I think I'm all out of dopamine and serotonin for today, but it's not going to stop us from doing a show. A lot to get to today. First off, amateurism is dead. We'll kind of update that story. I think Aaron's wife, Sharon,
have to bring her on the show,
actually raised some interesting points on that. I want to get into maybe what is the worst feeling in college football, Hugh Freeze being overrated, Big Ten money, TNT and the CFP, and a Iamaliava commit. That's right. This time, Madden Iamaliava, which is Nico's little brother, and just committed to UCLA, a 4-star quarterback. Nice work by Deshaun Foster there. His first major recruit, first top 100 recruit. All right, let's dive into amateurism is dead. In case you missed it, the 5 power conferences approved a settlement for the NCAA to try to kind of codify college sports going forward. First off, you probably heard about the $2.7 billion that the NCAA will have to pay to former athletes. Unfortunately, me and Aaron will not be eligible, as I believe the cutoff is like.
I'm going to get fucking paid.
No, you won't.
No, I am going to get paid. No. I'm going. I've heard through the grapevine. There's a way to still get paid if you're not in that group.
Because the cutoff's supposed to be what, 2016?
2016. But there are players that had come before that time that are obviously very upset, including myself, that we're not a part of the settlement, that are going to fight for some more dollars.
So this kind of is indicative of the problem overall, is that I don't know that this really solves anything. Like, people are going to keep suing, right? Like,
no, I agree. I don't get why we're going backwards.
For money.
I would rather just focus on going forwards. I don't get the whole like let's pay guys and back. And I get there's let's just get this over with, rip the Band-Aid off, pay the money, and try to move on. But my feeling has always been like what's in the past has happened. It's unfortunate. It sucks for guys like you and me. I mean, it would have been great to be getting paid. I think it was going to end up being like $30,000 a year. What's going to be paid out to almost every single athlete across all sports across all sports. I mean, don't forget, there's Title IX. You have to pay everyone. So it's
there's
not going to
no
be like
way everyone's getting $30K a year. Then the numbers there's no way that math.
$20 million.
$2.7 billion has to be paid out over 10
years. I'm talking
years.
about like going forward with the money that's getting paid. Oh, I don't know.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Like I'm all for like looking ahead. And once again, like I get there's the jealousy factor from all of us old heads that wish we could have been paid money like the kids are going to get paid now. But we were born too early. It sucks. You move on. You go find a damn job.
Who gives a fuck, dude? It is what it is.
Like, it is what it is.
Anybody gets in there.
You should be happy for the next generation.
Time. Yes.
Yeah. I'm happy for the next generation that's getting paid. So like I was.
But you're also actively going to force your way into the class action that you're not actually allowed into.
If they're going to go backwards, then I want to get paid. Okay. If they're gonna dangle that carrot in front of my face and say, "Oh, let's pay former players," well, shit, I want to get paid then.
Okay. Well, just let me know because I wouldn't mind maybe getting. I think
it's mostly for like starting quarterbacks of major D1 programs, but.
Excuse me, bitch. I was an SEC Media Day representative and the highest rated player in NCAA 12. Okay. On LSU. So suck my dick.
Okay.
Anyway, if that's only for quarterbacks, that's the most fucking quarterback thing I've ever heard.
It's not just for quarterback. It was another major.
Did you hear that QB1 elitism, guys?
Yeah, you do. They do, as they should. It's fine. I'll wear that badge proudly. But first of all, your title of amateurism is dead. It has been dead for years now. Yes, it has. Yes,
no, because the schools couldn't legally pay you. Somebody
You're still getting paid. What is the definition of amateurism? What's the definition of amateurism?
Well, I don't know actually. What do you think the definition of amateurism is, smart guy?
Doing something without being able to be compensated for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're not being paid to play football. They're being paid to advertise. Now they'll be paid to play football. So suck my dick. Okay, Mr. Legalese. Because yes, this is the final straw. Like capitalism has finally won in the end. So let's talk about the looking forward part. Cause you're right. I think looking back is less interesting.
Yeah.
Because right now schools are going to be able to opt in to paying their athletes revenue sharing up to $20 million a year. And obviously if you are one of the big schools and you want to remain competitive, while this is optional, like, okay, if Alabama's going to agree to pay 20 million, well, like, will LSU?
Yep.
We know Georgia definitely would Auburn and so on and so forth. So you get the point. There's kind of a social peer pressure applied that if this school is going to do the max and you want to stay competitive, you better do the max as well. What I'm unclear about are many things. First off, there's no real clarity on how Title IX factors in terms of them splitting up the revenue evenly. There's no clarity on exactly how schools will free up this money. Now, I know that a lot of times schools will engage in very creative accounting, right? Where they want to operate at maybe like basically no profit or a little bit of a loss so that you can claim tax incentives and so that your budgets don't go down and whatnot, right? That said, I don't think it's just super easy to come up with $20 million out of nowhere. Like that
Well,
is
you have to
going
stop spending as much. I mean, Josh Brooks came out and said it, the athletic director for Georgia. He's like, we have to find ways to cut spending on certain things, whether it's facility upgrades or this upgrade or adding to this. All that gets into account. And another thing that I've heard being discussed as well for a way to bring in more money is to bring in essentially firms, like to make this whole thing essentially you can buy stock in the universities or buy stock in the certain football teams. I mean, that's one way to do it too. I mean, they
really have gone capitalistic. So wait, you're telling me that they would be paying a dividend to a shareholder, but they still think they would make more money in the end?
That's a way to be able to raise more capital, to be able to still pay the players and then still build all the fancy, nice facilities that you want to be able to have on campus. Yes.
I know. I'm just wondering, is that math going to actually
Depends on how much if the equity is there and you're able to raise you're not going to do it just to do it. If you're able to say like, okay, there's private equity firms that want to put $1 billion into the University of Georgia and they get X percentage of the revenue from that, you may have to look at the number and say $1 billion gets us this. It allows us to pay for players, it allows us to build facilities, it gives us this much leeway. And obviously we're still making money, maybe not as much, but we have this private equity firm that's taking care of a lot of the problems as well.
I agree with Tom. Please, for the love of all that is holy, we cannot let private equity in. I could not agree more.
Bro. I'm with it. I get. I'm just
every time private equity gets involved, all that ends up mattering is the bottom line by the very nature of the corporation, and everything gets gutted because of it. And everything gets fucked over.
I've seen live golf meets college football.
I feel like I've seen so many, like I always think about like video.
But what do you do though?
So many great video game companies ruined and gutted by these big corporations buying them up. So, what do you do? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's like Greg Sankey said. He says if we go down the road, or he says there may have to be hard decisions. Some I can't even begin to imagine. Like there will probably be programs cut to cut down on spending. Like you said, I mean, I don't know how you're going to do all this. And again, I don't think it's an end to the lawsuits. Like it's very hard to know what this actually means in terms of clarity or finality. Like they're still not technically employees, at least not according to Greg Sankey. But then what did your wife tell us?
You almost have to be. And I teased this earlier, like we might have to bring my wife on. She deals with employment, labor and litigation for a big company. And Guy brought this up to her on Friday. I was like, how do they get around this whole, are they employees? Are they not employees? Obviously NCAA does not want to make them employees because then you have to pay for benefits and you have to do this and that. There's a million things that goes along with it. You would rather make them independent contractors, but there's multi-billion-dollar major corporations that would love to go the route of independent contractors. But when you look at the way that college sports is, especially college football, that most of the boxes they check off are employees of the university. The things that they're required to do make them employee of the university. So it'd have to be a special exception for them to go the route of a 1099 contractor. But then that opens the door to all these other big corporations that would say, hey, if you're going to let the NCAA do it, then why can't we do it then? So are they really going to grant college football the exception of every box says they're an employee, but we'll look the other way. We'll let them essentially become independent contractors. And that's going to be very slippery slope to go down.
Well, it would be even more shocking if they would grant them the exception, given that this entire ordeal has been finally about taking the exceptions away from college football, where the NCAA has been flatly illegal, but for whatever reason has not been held to these antitrust laws until now. this moment. So look, I cannot pretend to know how the employment's going to work out. I do know this: NIL still isn't going anywhere. Remember, this is not instead of, this is in addition to. So you're still going to have those NIL funds. You're going to need them ready to rock and roll. Only now the labor is finally getting a piece of the revenue pie.
Drew, NFL players are considered employees of the NFL.
Yes, that's why they're allowed to collectively bargain.
Yep.
Which, again, Sankey was very on the fence and very evasive. And by the way, guys, the spring meetings are going on right now. So over the next couple of days, in fact, maybe we do a show tomorrow, depending on the news that breaks. But over the next couple of days, we should be getting a lot of coaches talking, a lot of administrators talking, and we've already seen Greg Sankey do some talking, and he was very, I would say, evasive on the idea of players collectively bargaining. Yeah. He was once again kind of putting out there that I don't know that players want to be employees, which, you know, you could, that's an argument. There's a debate to be had there. There's pros and cons on both sides. Because yeah, he's basically being asked like, well, wouldn't that be a way to solve like transfer portal and other stuff? And he seemed to be like, you know, potentially, but also we'd still love to lobby federal Congress. And, but he also kind of said that's not going anywhere, even though he's trying. So but
once again, like we go back to the money though. And if I'm the athletic director and I'm having to essentially make these every student athlete an employee, pay the benefits, pay the salaries, pay for upgrades. I mean, what are you going to do? Raise ticket prices every single year?
Already paying for benefits for most of these kids for a scholarship athlete? I mean, don't you already have health insurance?
A little bit more if they're employees. I think there's other things that go into. Once again, I'll bring in.
I mean, I guess you don't have to do like a 401k match or anything like that. Like maybe you start getting involved in some of that, which that'd be great.
What are you going to do? Are you literally going to raise ticket prices for the average fan every single year? To make the difference, I guess so. I'm just saying, like these are the options.
That'd be one thing that
these are the options. Do you continue to raise prices, concessions, tickets, parking, or do you take in outside funds?
TK says, could they add penalties if a player tries to transfer away? So that's the point about them being employees, right? Right now, it would either take, to my understanding, a federal act of Congress to make a rule like that, or if they were employees and could be collectively bargained with, which again gets complicated because it's there's so much turnover in college football constantly where technically, and I guess this is not unlike the NFL where like a player's in college when a new CBA is agreed to and they're still going to be held to that CBA. But yeah, I feel like the only way that they can do the portal rules or is with a collective bargaining agreement or a federal act of Congress.
You have to be employees. Yeah, you have to be employees. You can't be an independent contractor and essentially sign away that I won't transfer. If you're an independent contractor, you can do what you want. I can leave and go next year. I can go the year after. I can go the year after that. Like, to me, if we do want to clean it up, I think we have to bite the bullet and just make these kids employees.
Chris Trent says, are all athletes at a given school getting the same amount? We don't know for sure yet. That is not clear. I would say maybe, but again, nobody's really exactly laid out how Title IX's you would think with something like Title IX that at least like the women and the men's portion of the pie would have to be equal. Aaron, you said $30,000 earlier. Do you think, have you heard that all athletes will be getting the same amount?
That's kind of what I've heard from a couple people, but once again, like you said, nothing is set in stone just yet. So I thought initially it was going to be, here's $20 million. And I know LSU's kind of messed around this a little bit. Let me go hire a GM that each sport gets X amount of dollars, and that GM's in charge of like, okay, you're a starting quarterback, so I'm going to give you $1 million. You're a backup left guard, you're going to get $30,000. Which to me, like that's how it should be. I have X amount of dollars. I want to pay my guys the way I want to pay them. Not every player should be paid the same. I don't like going down that path at all.
It does feel more college football going down that path does. Or I mean, it just feels more college athletics. I kind of personally like the idea of a flat fee for everyone, and then you let the NIL space kind of pay on okay, who's better sort of level. Because again, NIL is not going to go away. All this is in addition to. So then everybody's getting a flat rate at least, and then you get Yeah, exactly, John.
Can a quarterback
Exactly.
not be getting paid more than the
John says, of course, Aaron wants a QB to get $1 million in the O-line, $30K. You see it, guys? See the type of shit that I have to deal with here?
Mhm.
Unfucking believable.
Only makes sense. Only makes sense.
Does it make sense?
It does.
Because if that's the case, then non-revenue sports shouldn't get anything at all.
They
And
shouldn't.
only revenue generating sports should get
It
stuff.
should.
Oh, okay. So you're just full. Okay, hell yeah. Look, I mean,
Are
maybe
you
I got a
not
little more-
Mr. Capitalism? Are you not Mr. Capitalism?
No, I was
Are
just
you
gonna
not
say
Mr. Capitalism?
maybe I got a little
Have you
more
not been
socialism
preaching
in me.
that for a year now?
Fuck no, I'm
Yes,
not
you
Mr.
have.
Capitalism.
Yes, you are.
I think unfettered capitalism has led us to a fucking massive wealth disparity on the level that we haven't seen since the fucking barons of like the early 19 teens. I think we are due for a world war, some other sort of massive economic reset because the wealth gap is getting so large again. Go look at how World War I and II kind of reset it and kind of brought the people back, only for us to get fucked by tech the same way that the oil and fucking train barons were fucking people back in 100 years ago. So no, I'm not a believer in unfettered capitalism. What I do say a lot of times is the people who are, for much of these conversations of the years, have been the people who are complaining about athletes being paid. So I'm just trying to point out, you can't have, you can't say I want this and then also want that. No, I've got a little bit of capitalistic socialism in me. Like I would have no problem with every athlete getting the same amount from the school revenue. And then again, letting the NIL space kind of pay the players who are better.
From what I've seen too, though, from the NIL space, it would have to turn into a true NIL space. Remove the collective, essentially, the collective becomes part of the university in-house where they're looking for deals rather than hitting up donors for money. You know what I'm saying? So that portion, the GoFundMe portion of the collective goes away. The collective essentially becomes an agency for the university where they're helping strictly fund or find deals. It's not if you give us $10 per month to whatever collective and you get a sticker to put on the back of your car. It is, hey, we're going to Dick's or Coca-Cola or Delta or whatever it is, this restaurant to get deals for the university, and that's it.
How?
No, I'm just saying, that's what
why does that change?
Because it's not, you're not essentially having a GoFundMe. It is a true name, image, and likeness. You're getting deals through companies, not every single fan putting in $10 to a pot saying, here, go.
But won't that give an advantage to whoever just keeps wanting to do the GoFundMe model? Because they can apply, they can use that money like a salary cap.
I'm saying you end the GoFundMe model. You don't allow it.
How? How do you not allow it? That's my point. And none of this doesn't get touched in this settlement. It doesn't change. It's in addition to.
I would like for that portion to be eliminated.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that again,
I think but you have seen the collectives. There's a chance that the collectives do come in house.
I don't understand why people keep saying that, but maybe I'm just dumb. I can't get it. Cortland Jacobs says federal regulations barely hurt major corporations, but kill small businesses and competition. Yeah. You know why they barely hurt major corporations? Because all the fucking major corporations are putting all the money into lobbyists to get these people elected. So they create laws that are friendly to them and they get unlimited tax breaks and the small people don't get. Fuck. That's America. Hell yeah. Yeah, A-Barge, I get it. I agree with A-Barge. He says, I get this stuff matters and it's timely, though I'm ready for some actual football talk. I agree. Anything else in here?
No, I want to get paid, though. I want to get paid.
We spent so long talking about this, and I don't think that, I don't know that it solves anything, really. I still think there's going to be lawsuits. There's going to be assholes like you out there still trying to get some of that money that you feel that you're owed.
How am I an asshole? How am I an asshole? How am I an asshole?
No, you're not. You're not an asshole.
Thank you.
Everybody should try to get what they feel what they're owed. I'm just saying that this. I don't understand that, I don't feel that this gives the NCAA that much protection from lawsuits. I feel like they're going to continue to come, but we'll see. Again, Cortland. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But again, Cortland. I mean, yes, the reason why the major corporations, the laws are so friendly to them is because they pay for them. All right, real quick here. I want to play some Billy Napier sound. It's not like the best sound, I wouldn't say, but it is. How do I do this again? Hold on. We were so good at it the other day. What happened? But it is somewhat interesting, I would say.
I love that Aaron is demanding to get paid. I will say this. One thing I remember from when I was getting recruited, I was in Gainesville, and we're at a practice, and TBo's dad was there. And TBo's dad and my dad were talking. I'm watching practice, and TBo's dad told my dad, "He's like, have you walked around campus? Have you seen the number 15 jerseys walking around?" And he said the amount of money, I forgot it was millions and millions, but the amount of revenue generated by that jersey. And my son doesn't see a damn penny of it. Like, TBo should be included in this. Johnny Manziel should be included in this.
Tyrann Mathieu.
Hell, the amount of number 11 jerseys that I saw going around Athens, Georgia during my time. Like, hell yeah, I want to get paid a little bit. Come on.
Wait, bro, how did I share my screen last time? Why am I blanking? I did this like so much the other day.
The present
What am I missing on here? What?
Present.
Where's present? Where is that?
In the bottom.
Oh, God, I'm an idiot. Thank you. All right, here is Billy Napier. He's being asked about Jaden Rashada.
Personal role in the recruitment of Jaden Rashada.
Yeah, so thanks. I appreciate the question. Look, I think it's important for everybody to understand that I can't comment due to the litigation, right? But I do have confidence in our legal team. I am comfortable with my actions, and I'm thankful for the university's support.
Okay.
And we're going to keep it at that, kind of let the process take its course.
You've had a lot of positive momentum this offseason. You talked about this a number of times.
This is definitely a Gators reporter.
Oh, yes.
Licking the butt.
I spent probably 30 minutes observing our team this morning before coming here. We officially started our off-season program for the summer this morning. That's what gives me confidence. I think we executed the first half of the offseason the best we've done since we've been there. We certainly have evolved, we've adapted. And I feel good about our systems. I think ultimately we've got credible leadership for the first time.
How about that, Aaron? Watch out, dude. Georgia in trouble. Florida with the best first half of their offseason that they've had yet.
Oh my God.
Despite, didn't they watch their recruiting class just completely fall apart on signing day in like a meteoric crash? Also, as Chad is pointing out, when you start with, I appreciate the question, you do not appreciate the question. I got to play the beginning again.
Personal role in the recruitment of Jaden Rashada.
Yeah, so thanks. I appreciate the question.
He knew that was coming. Like, come on. Now.
Yeah, for sure.
It was the number one thing. Like, come on. You can't be a dick about it. You're part of the reason why this happened. You have to stand up and answer the questions as best you can.
No, I'm not saying Billy Napier did anything wrong. It's just very funny to hear. I appreciate the question.
And that was his guy. That was
sued by a Georgia football player that you had promised $13 million to.
That was Edgar Thompson. Good dude.
Shout out Edgar Thompson.
Writer. Yeah.
He's a what?
He is a Florida beat writer.
Yeah, for sure. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in these rooms. I know. I've asked the same softball questions to Brian Kelly, Les Miles, whoever, Edo. I get it. It's just the name of the game, man. So, okay, Billy, though, presenting a confident front on the lawsuit front. We'll see if that actually comes to pass. Do you believe Billy Napier when he says that they've had the best first half of the offseason that they've had?
What is he going to say? What is he going to say? No, it's been. I'm a little bit nervous. This is talking season. This is still the portion of the season until week 1 or 2 where everyone thinks they're going to win a national championship. But I will say this: like, it's year 3, so you should. This is We'd say the same thing with Brian Kelly at LSU. Like year 3, you've been able to put together recruiting cycles. You've been able to go in the transfer portal. You've been able to, now this is a second year with a starting quarterback. So like you have the quarterback, you got the leader. He can help, steer the guys in the right direction as well. So the pieces should be in place for Florida to, you should feel more confident this year than you were last year, but you still got to have the players when it's all said and done. You still got to be able to line up against Georgia and FSU and be able to compete man on man. And I just don't know if Florida has that talent right now.
Do you think that now King Malik looks like we got a Gator in the chat saying that that he thinks that yes, the 24 class is good, a bit of quality over quantity, even if they did have a lot of guys leave. 5th in the transfer portal ranking. So maybe there is some argument to be made that things went a bit better in this offseason in Florida than I would say. Do you think that DJ Lagway pushes Graham Mertz at all?
No.
This year? Do you have a Chris Leak, Tim Tebow situation? You don't even think there's a sub package for Lagway?
No. What? But the Tim situation was so different though. Tim is a different breed of quarterback where it's not like Tim was playing series after series after series. Tim was in there for very specific reasons. You're inside the 5-yard line, Tim time. Your 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 situation, it's Tebow time. Like and I talked to Dan about this a bunch. Like there were situations that Chris Leak knew. Look up there at the scoreboard, and it's this situation. All right, my ass is out. Out. You're not bringing in Lagway for those situations. You have your quarterback. You know how I feel the way he played last year. I thought he played really well. Year 2 in the system, you stick with him, and unless he gets hurt, you put the 5-star on the bench until next season. Why would you play him? What does he offer you that's any different from the quarterback that you have in right now?
Because what if he's more exciting than Graham Mertz is in some ways? I mean, Graham Mertz is solid.
Florida's a bad example. Then you need to give the example of Clemson 20 whatever it was.
I mean, am I crazy? Can DJ Lagway? I haven't watched him play. Can he not run better than Graham Mertz can? Like you don't think?
I don't know that, but I don't think that like that's not. To me, watching the limited tape that I've watched, that's not really his major DNA. Like you're not putting him in there to run the football. You're not putting a whole package design. Like he is a pure passing quarterback, sits in the pocket, throws the football. Is he more athletic than Graham Mertz? Maybe so, but you're not going to just change it up for a guy that's a little bit more athletic, but still call the same package.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, we'll see how that ends up working. I know Florida fans look forward to watching another year of 7
I think
yards.
Mertz is pretty damn good. I'll be honest.
Trust me. If people listen to this show, they know that you love Graham Mertz. But this is like my dad loving Jake Plummer. Okay. One kind of grindy white quarterback can't help but love another grindy white quarterback. Okay. Y'all are just one and the same. And that's the problem. You can't be trusted because you see yourself reflected in him. 8.1 yards per attempt. So I take it back.
Yeah.
I mean, look, all joking aside, his stats were very respectable last year, but I would not be like super excited if I was a Florida fan about Graham Mertz.
And what would you rather put your life on if I'm,
I don't know. To be fair, like I think it's a huge ask of DJ Lagway to be better than Mertz. Like he was really good last year. I just like Billy's in a situation where do you almost need to play the 5-star just for like fan excitement?
I mean, if Graham is shitting the bed early on the season, maybe do it. Yeah, but I think you go with the guy that won the locker room over last year, that played really well. You have a really good quarterback, and I think you have one of the best receivers in the SEC as well.
I would like to ask another question in the SEC, and that is Hugh Freeze overrated? So this comes from at CFB Home on Twitter here. Look at this, Aaron. Mighty interesting. You see these numbers right here? Look at this. So Brian Harsin, we all made fun of constantly, right? And it seemed like just a truly god-awful hire at the time. First 13 games, Brian Harsin, 6-7. Of course, no SEC titles, no bowl wins, 9 weeks ranked. Hugh Freeze hired, I thought it was a pretty damn good hire, right? I
Mhm.
thought in the offseason he kind of got the boosters aligned. There seemed to be a lot of positive momentum. However, first 13 games, 6-7, 0 SC titles, 0 bowl wins, 0 weeks ranked. Both Harsin and Freeze, 3 double-digit losses in those 13 games and 1 loss against a group of 5 team. So tell me, Aaron, why is Hugh Freeze better than Brian Harsin?
I'll tell you what, I'm more excited about the Dwayne Johnson unveils Moana 2 trailer on the right side of the screen, if I want to be honest.
Do you want to see something real crazy? Have you watched the Will Levis videos?
No. Oh,
Just kidding. We can't watch those.
I was about to say, I've heard rumors, but I didn't think they were online. I guess I gotta do some more
Let's just
research on
say Will Levis is, we always know that Will Levis is a great body, right?
that. Yep.
I would say that he has the genitals to match his body. Very impressive stuff out of Levis, though of course I always feel bad for people when stuff gets leaked. Anyway, even though I don't think he comes out of this looking too bad, quite honestly. I don't think any party does really, but whatever. Why is Hugh Freeze better than Brian Harsin?
Because at least he's proven it at this level. I mean, Brian Harsin, he came into this as a group of 5 coach and then a very successful one there at Boise State. But like, you have a guy that has not been at the Power 5, has struggled, similar to what we're seeing right now with Florida and Billy Napier. Then you have the other guy that has had a lot of success, has won big time games in the Power 5, has won big time games in the SEC. That at least he can do it. Can he do it at Auburn? Can he recreate the magic that he did have at Ole Miss? I don't know, but I have more confidence that he can than what Brian Harsin was bringing to the table coming from Boise State.
It's a fair point. And for what it's worth, I agree. I found these numbers to be interesting, but I do feel it's kind of how I feel about Matt Rule at Nebraska, right? Like Nebraska still went 5-7 this year. They still turned the ball over late. They still lost a lot of close games. But if you looked closer, there was something there, right? Did Harsin ever get close to beating Alabama? Because, Freeze should have.
He should have won the first year. You remember when
oh, yeah. Not as much as Freeze, much as Freeze should have, but yes.
No,
probably
yes,
he
should have.
He
probably should have won more.
No. Not more than the fourth.
If the running back was it Tank Bigsby,
no, they would have still had
bounds,
time. No, they would have still had time. Yes,
no, I think it would have ended the game. If Tank Bigsby stayed in bounds, they would have. So
you're telling me that Harsin and Freeze are even more alike then?
Yes.
And they both blew golden opportunities to beat Bama.
Yeah.
No, look, for what it's worth, I do think Freeze has Auburn moving in the right direction. I think he has them more aligned, a traditionally chaotic place, but he's gonna have to prove it. Like they got to win some games this year, and it's still and they're rolling with Peyton Thorne, which again, Freeze knows quarterbacks, like you said, he's done on this level before. He's.
I just think from a perspective, if I'm a fan, and I get maybe you know more than us because you see him day in and day out, and he had some good moments last year, no doubt about it. But like, I think just to ease the tension off the field, it would have been better for him just to bring in someone. And it wasn't a great market too. I mean, let's just go to. It was not like this super deep transfer portal market where there was a bunch of guys in there. But I just think like anyone to say like, okay, at least he's trying to make the quarterback room better. He brought in so-and-so to add some competition. You are literally bringing a guy back who led you to a 6-7 season last year. And it was a roller coaster, man. There was fewer games that he looked good, more games than not that he was inaccurate and just not making good decisions out there.
He did have a really good year at Michigan State the year they made the playoff, but he had a great running game behind him. We'll see. Again, Hugh Freeze knows quarterbacks, and Hugh Freeze is betting on Peyton Thorne. So, I'll kind of see DeFreeze's judgment there, but he better be right because he is overextending himself in terms of betting on Thorne. DA says, what did he say? He said, TBob, I try to watch snaps, but it doesn't take long for you to make this shit really cringe. Geez, look, DA, bro, this is the show. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is a show. You're here, you're not, and it's all good. If you're not into it, I understand. It's not for everyone, but maybe just go look up Will Levis's dick and see what you think about it. Aaron, did you hear about TNT buying some CFP games, some college football playoff games? TNT has struck a 5-year sub-licensing deal with ESPN for college football playoff games. TNT Sports and HBO Max will show 2 first-round games over the first 2 seasons of the deal, and then the final 3 years of the deal, they'll broadcast and stream 2 first-round games as well as 2 quarterfinals. Now, good for you and your brethren, Aaron. ESPN will still produce it. They'll still use the ESPN broadcasters, but TNT, they'll obviously get to sell the advertising, but then they'll also, they have the ability to make a studio show. So if you want, the equivalent of Inside the NBA with Chuck and Ernie and the crew, they probably do something like that for the college football playoff. In fact, word on the street is TNT may not be getting this next round of NBA deals, which would be truly awful in my opinion, because Inside the NBA is probably the best sports show on television. I'm so dumb. I would just, even though like a lot of you would be like, they don't know football. I would honestly love for them to just copy paste Inside the NBA. I'll take Chuck, Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, just have them talk about fucking college football. I don't give a damn. I still want to watch
banging dudes in the paint. Yeah, I would definitely watch it. Yeah, 100%. I thought it was going to be something different. Like you heard the rumors of Fox, mostly Fox. I'm not even going to throw NBC out there, but like Fox was going to buy the rights to some of these games. And I don't know the inner workings and the dollar amounts and the competition of, we don't want Fox to have any of it. And TNT, especially the fact that you get to use ESPN broadcaster. So it's going to feel like an ESPN game and not another game out there. But it's an expensive property. It is a very expensive property. And we've seen Disney obviously make some massive cuts over the past year once again. So I get trying to I think it's a smart move by ESPN, just plain simple. Like you get to make it feel like and still own part of it, yet you get to make some money by allowing TNT to put it on their channels. And then TNT is really not a competitor in the space at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
And I think Fox does a good job. I mean, Brian on the chat, not Fox. Fox says, I think Fox does a good job with the broadcast.
I don't know that I dislike any of the major college football broadcasts.
I don't like NBC.
To be honest.
I don't like NBC. I don't like the broadcasters. I don't like the pregame show. I don't like the halftime show. I think Fox does a really good job.
NFL coverage?
And I don't watch NFL.
Oh, so like Sunday Night Football or anything like that? You don't think NBC does a good job?
I don't watch NFL.
Maybe I'm just too accepting, because I think they all do a pretty damn good job.
I think CBS does a good job. I think Fox does a good job. I think ESPN does a good job.
The Fox bug is the worst. I kind of liked last year's Fox bug, didn't I? Or was it too big? Did people hate it? I can't remember. Okay, why don't we do this? We'll save what's the worst feeling in college football for tomorrow or for Thursday. Depending on, if there's big news, we'll do a show tomorrow. If not, we'll wait till Thursday like we normally do. But a massive thank you to everyone for watching today. Please hit the like button, subscribe, guys. When you all do that, that's great ways that you can help us out as we transition to being independent.
Go follow us on social.
Yes, follow us on social. And again, we are going to get, we got to do more breakouts, dude. I just saw that McElroy's at like 40K views. What are we doing? That's something.
I know. It's a great show.
We are going to get back on RSS feed eventually. I know I keep saying this, but eventually. Well, man, the TBob House Vegas, it was excellent. It was excellent, except that my dopamine and serotonin levels are non-existent at this point. Aaron looks mad that TBob called him an elitist or called him an asshole. He is an asshole. Look at him. He's a quarterback. All quarterbacks are. This is true. Will you live stream NCAA 25 once it comes out? Absolutely, King Mo. Look forward to it. All right, that'll be it. Thank you so much. We love you, and we will see you on the next episode.